Good morning, everybody. Just want to talk about friendship and jealousy. I've been out here just enjoying God's Word and the beauty of the birds and nature, and God is so awesome. I hope you guys have an awesome Memorial Day weekend. Just digging in again into 1 Samuel 18, and I want to just talk about two simple things today: friendship and jealousy. So in verse 2, it's talking about Jonathan, the King Saul's son. He says he loved him, David, as himself, and that really struck me. You know, he loved David as himself, and of course there's scriptures that say we should love people like that, but I don't think many times we do. So I want to challenge myself, and I want to challenge you to think about, what kind of friend am I? Do I love my friends? Do I love those around me as much as I love myself? And that's very challenging. And being a Christ follower isn't always easy. But one of the things was, you know, are we happy when they win? Do we cry with them when they hurt? And I want to be that friend. And I just want to give a shout out to Derek and Lori, two of our best friends, that they've exemplified that. They're there for us, and I want to be there for them, and hopefully we are. But they are a true representation of what a great friend is. Verse 8 and 9 in 1 Samuel 18, it says, Saul was very angry. This refrain galled him, and what was happening is they were like, Saul's killed his thousands, but David has killed his tens of thousands. So Jonathan, his son's over here saying, hey, David, I'm here for you. I love you as myself. But his father, you know, who God has kind of went away from, he is doing the opposite. He's jealous. He is looking for ways to take advantage of David. So it's kind of an interesting dichotomy between Jonathan and his father and their relationship with David. So he's getting jealous at this point because they're like, oh, Saul's killed 1,000 people, but David kills his thousands or tens of thousands. And there's where jealousy started to creep in with Saul. So I want to encourage us with our friendships also. If our friends are succeeding, celebrate that. Don't be jealous or angry or have a hidden bitterness, but celebrate that because you want them to celebrate with you when you come to a place of victory as well. Just a couple verses of what God says about friendships. And again, I'm challenging myself, and I want to encourage you to challenge yourself. Proverbs 17:17 says, a friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. And I love a couple things I underlined there is a friend loves at all times. You know, it's easy to love in the good times, but it says a friend loves at all times. So make sure that we are there in the hard times. It says, and a brother is born for adversity. So make sure that we are being the type of friend that is there for our friends when they fall down, when they're hurting, not just when everything's going well. You know, I think you can see a true testament of who your true friends are when things negatively or hard come into your lives. Ecclesiastes 4:9 and 10, last one on this part, says, two are better than one because they have a good return for their work. If one falls down, his friend can help him up. But pity the man who falls and has no one to help him out. So friends are so powerful, and we can be an impact in people's lives, especially in the hard times. But I want us to encourage to think about who we are surrounding ourselves with and who's going to be giving us advice in those times, and make sure that we seek out good friendships. Sometimes I think people settle in their lives for people that are friends, but they are friend in name only. They don't really help us in the right ways. So really want to encourage you on that. Think about who's in your circle or on your squad. Only other thing I have for you guys today is, you know, Jonathan loved David, but his own dad, Saul, is doing the opposite. And he went down a very dangerous road that started with jealousy. And what kind of wrote down to myself in my notes was Saul's jealousy led to anger. If you read in 1 Samuel 18, then he got angry. And his anger then moved on to hatred. He hated David. And then it led even to wanting to kill him. And it's a dangerous thing, and that's when little things can lead to bigger things in our lives. And I want to encourage myself and you to do a heat check on ourselves. Do I have anger? Do I have bitterness? Do I have certain things that are potentially going to lead to other things? Jealousy and envy leading to anger, leading to hatred, leading to, okay, now it's leading to an action against this person. So I want to challenge us to deal with our issues early and often. Hey God, search me and know my heart. Is there something in me that is not honoring to you? And let's deal with it right then before it gets bigger. A couple verses on jealousy. Galatians 6:4 says, let each one examine his own work. Then he can take pride in himself and not compare himself with someone else. And there's so much of the comparison trap going on, and it can really affect your self-esteem and your relationships. So let's make sure that we are not comparing ourselves to others, but look to the author and perfecter of our faith, Jesus, where our sense of worth comes from. And then Job 5:2 says, surely resentment destroys the fool and jealousy kills the simple. I mean, when people are jealous or when they have a lack of forgiveness, every time they see that person that they're jealous with, or that they have a unresolved something that needs forgiven, that person's controlling you. And it's like you see that person and you start getting this physical sense of sickness, or you start getting upset, and every time you see that, you're just controlled by them. Don't let that happen. Forgive them, or work on that jealousy or resentment or envy, so you can be free of that. God came to give us freedom and life to the full. So if you look even in this story, it's an example of that. In verse 28-29, it says his daughter had married David, and it says, when Saul realized that the Lord was with David and that his daughter Michal loved David, Saul became still more afraid of him, and he remained his enemy the rest of his days. Think about that. Saul, the king, had jealousy over someone who wasn't even king at the time, and he knew that God was with David, and it affected him the rest of his days, where he could have dealt with that early and maybe had a much more healthy relationship, and things could have ended up differently. So just to recap, what kind of friend am I? And I want us to be like Jonathan. I want myself to be like Jonathan. And number 2, don't let jealousy turn into a monster. Jealousy is ugly enough, but it can turn into something really big and affect and have some dangerous consequences in our lives. So let's learn from Jonathan, David, and Saul, and let's not be jealous, and let's think about what kind of friends we are. Thank you.